Hey there, so today we have another review. This is a beer courtesy of Nick. If you guys are not already aware, he sent me the rarest beer that I will probably ever review on the channel and have ever reviewed on the channel. This is from Floodland. Um, yeah, if you want to skip ahead, I'm going to spend my time trying to rip this open and we shall see. So, I've already reviewed one beer from Floodland. It's probably going to go down as the best beer of the year. I mean, like that beer was absolutely insane. Right? So it's gonna take a minute. So now we can chat. So good thing it works out. And like spending time on this. If you don't already know, Floodland is from one of the brewers originally from Holy Mountain. Small operation. Brewery only, membership only, no tap room. A few releases a year. Don't even try to sign up if you have a partner. It's one per household kind of thing. If you can get onto the membership or the mailing list. So yeah, sorry. Okay, well, so yeah, really special brewery focusing on the American mixed fermentation style beer. This one specifically is Brouwer's 18 from 2022. I actually kept this around because I was like maybe hoping that I could share this with somebody, someone cool. Daniel, who's like an OG beer guy, who you saw me do some reviews of Jester King with, but I haven't had a chance. I just recently moved, and probably should have thought about like christening this new place with a cool beer. And then Nick, I think recently commented like, "Hey man, you got to review that beer." Sorry about that. I've had this bottle for a few months now. It's 2022, and then there's always a Best Buy that like they recommend that the brewer recommends that you have it by, and I guess I sort of burnt my time talking about this beer and making a mess. This wax is no joke, guys. Holy moly. All right, I got it. Yeah, there we go. We got it. Okay, no gushers. Cool. I had a really nice machine in the fridge. Just pulled it out. Oh, man, look at that cap. I think Phil Farmstead does that too. I don't know if you can see, but it has the like a little seal. So I think it's an extra protection from oxygen. And so what is Brouwer's 18? So 2022 let's read through this. Beer made celebrates 18th anniversary of Brouwer's Cafe. Brouwer's Cafe, I believe, is in Belgium. Brouwer's Cafe, I don't know where Brouwer's Cafe is. Probably should have done some research. Fermented Saison, formerly held quote unquote big gin, re-fermented with organic 2022 harvest Balaton cherries from apple carp fruit in Okanagan Valley. So that's a wine region, but also I guess cherries too. Brouwer's Cafe in Seattle. Okay, I've never been to Brouwer's Cafe. Did I go? No, wow. When I was in Seattle, I only hit up Chop Shop, whatever. It's a guy with the it's actually an Asian owner in the craft beer industry. So I think I only went to that one in Seattle. Yeah. I didn't go to Brouwer's Cafe. Oh yeah, there you go. And our beer surely would not exist without it. Thanks. Cool. If I make Seattle, I'm going to Brouwer's Cafe. Thank you to Matt Vandenbergen. I'm butchering. Vandenberg. Okay, Vandenberg. And Matt Pellman. Wow. Yeah, okay. So 2-year-old bottle. Yeah, about time. So thank you, Nick. Sorry I didn't review it. And like I always feel bad. Like obviously if you're gonna send me beer, I need to review it on the channel. And sorry for neglecting reviewing it last few months. But here we are, and I'm gonna enjoy this guy. Unfortunately, nobody can enjoy it with me, but I better enjoy it. Look at that color. Beautiful, rich, red. Almost look like high C punch kind of thing, but a little bit darker than that. I recommend. Reminds me a little bit of a Kool-Aid, but like a hazy Kool-Aid. Yeah, that's a good color, hazy Kool-Aid. Looks like some of those fruit punch sour that I've had, but obviously this is a whole different animal. We're not talking about some kettle sour nonsense. This is some legit stuff. 7.09%. Wow, very precise. Yeah, wonderful. Lightly pink shed. We're in for one, boys. Wow. Bright, luscious, kind of cherry note in here. big funk, dirty diapers. Definitely that like toasted sesame character that I love from Cantillon and Drew Fontaine and Goose Producers. Oh, man. Yeah, what is that? It's just like I've had yet to anybody call that out for me. You guys post in comments below, like, are you, if you're into like American mixed fermentation or blended, spontaneous ale, a lot of good guys have this really nice, beautiful thing. I call it like toasted sesame thing. Yeah, like white sesame. Tons of that. Beautiful funk in here. Like creeks and rivers and whetstone, this minerality. Almost like tart crab apples. It smells freaking amazing. Cheers. Oh, yeah. So, despite the fruitiness on the nose, like, you what? Don't open your mouth, Darwin. Like, the amount of complexity here, you have to like sit. Oh my God. Not to put down the Jean Van Roy and the lambic producers, but my God, this is like that to the X. Like, it's a different kind of animal. This is like a mixed culture, but they choose the culture they put in. It's not spontaneous and not. But to even like put these beers like even close to that pedestal and complexity, and I'm arguing even more complexity in those beers. It's like higher intensity and arguably more focused intensity, more flow. So yeah, I'm arguing higher intensity, just as much complexity, but more focused complexity too. Wow. Okay. Now we gotta start creating sentences. So initial impression is that the beer is beautifully acidic. It's not full on. I'd say it's medium to medium plus. So it's not shreddingly acidic, but it's definitely a sour, quite sour beer. The lambic and goose call is very familiar. Full blind, you'd have to guess it's one of those beers. So despite not being spontaneously fermented beer, has complexity of, again, some just insanely well-regarded old school Belgian breweries. I mean, it's just like the fruit, it's hard up front, but then there's a beautiful, like rich, nutty cherry pie thing that comes in the middle. Definitely, I imagine the seeds might have been involved in the re-fermentation, so there's a beautiful kind of marzipan almond nuttiness that, like, I think you can extract from the seeds. And they also can, I believe, also extract some tannic off flavors and other things. But here it's this really wonderful kind of marzipan nuttiness, and it has this, and it pushes far enough to that kind of complexity of like toasted nuttiness that almost comes off like cherry pie. So like this is not a junky kind of like fun impression kettle sour thing, but it has a beautiful kind of fancy fine dining cherry pie dessert thing kind of going on, right? We're not relying on like sweetness but it's like rich cherry flavor. And then right in the mid palate, it goes really hard with the expression of the fruit. It's so pure and so fruity and almost arguably jammy. You get to this little bit of jamminess in the middle. And then it has a really beautiful lactic component that brings on this kind of like creme fraiche and yogurty tone, which you would generally get from just a simple kettle sour, but it has that complexity in the middle too, where it's impression of your best, kettle sour cherry thing, but then also the complexity of the other beer around it. Funk for days, getting a little bit of barnyard, but really, it's really not maybe as funky. It smelled like it, but maybe not as funky as some of your spontaneous beers. But has that just beautiful fruit character, bone dry, carbonation is spot on, really rich, sparkly carbonation on these beers. I think that's one of the things that he probably focuses a lot on, so he just gets these beers spot on. carve it all the way exactly where it needs to be and pretty high, right? Because it lifts off the palate. Mm-hmm. Beautiful thing about this, a beautiful thing also is that there's a really nice balance of acetic character. They're really pulling back on the acetic. Some of these beers, that was had reviewed and had shares back then. They really can be shredders and really push on not only lactic but this kind of vinegary sour. Like we're talking about sour for the sake of sour, or just like that's how they build the beers. Like that's how their mixed culture worked, and that's how they blended the beers, and that's how they want to present. It's spent time in gin barrels, maybe getting a little bit of that kind of like juniper mintiness, possibly. Maybe I'm just possibly putting that in my head, but also the complexity of that nuttiness can also be from the toasted oak. Some of them against a gin barrel, so maybe there's not really, maybe not. These are things that can be power suggestion. But is there like a toasted tannic oak character in here? Possibly. I don't know. I'm calling it, but it could possibly not be in there. Boy, oh boy, boy, oh boy. Nose is ridiculous on this guy. Long finish. And that's one of the things that you think about when you get to really complex and world-class beers, but also in wine. Like it's about again, one of the great lessons I've learned from just watching. I'm not a wine guy, obviously, and I'd like to learn more, but great analogy is like always thinking about. It's like when you drop a pebble in water versus a stone in like a rock or a big rock in water. There's only so many rings of that you will create from like small rock versus throw a bigger rock in there, more and more waves, right? It's just the fact of where the flavor ends and where it starts. There's less and less. There's less, intensity and rings of flavor, or rings from that small rock versus a bigger, more intensity, more layers, more layers. It's like another analogy I can give you. Actually, this is one of mine. It's like shouting into a cave and you whisper, echo, 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 loud, bigger intensity but more echoes, right? Like it's more echoing of flavor. It just moves on and on and on. I'm still talking, and it's still moving on me. And now I'm finally finishing off on the palate. And it's dry, but I'm still getting some cherry flavor. I'm still also getting some of that lingering acidity. I'm also maybe getting some aftertaste of tertiary flavors from maybe the gin, maybe the oak. Also the funk is just lingering too, yeah. Oh my God. And the cool thing about this beer is that it plays this beautiful part of like America and Belgium, where I think a lot of top-rated mixed fermentation American sours are going to have a lot of fruit. They're going to use so much fruit, and I sort of like that. I like it both ways. Right? Like April Ruberside from Just King's, big jam. But then I also really appreciated that you guys must come slow. There are other beer that they make with the second use fruit from Israel, where it's like more about the mixed fermentation, more about the actual beer underneath, and the second use fruit is obviously, it's been used already. You're trying to make coffee out of grounds that are already used, right? Like try to brew coffee, try to brew it again. You're not going to get black coffee. You're going to get like some brown kind of like coffee water kind of thing, right? Not to say that that's happening here, but I appreciate both sides, and honestly, I'm a little bit of a fruit head. I like the jammy, showy flavors, but here it's like very fruity without being too jammy. Oh man. It's like right on that cusp where it's super fruity, but it's not sweet. I don't think I mentioned at any point too much sweetness here. I mentioned dessert. These are dessert flavors and cherry flavors, but nor at any point did I mention this beer necessarily sweet at all. Bona fide beer, wonderful lifting acidity, cleansing acidity here, cleansing carbonation, cleansing acidity too. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. I think it's been years, but like a Loup Pepe Creek from Cantillon, their premium blend, blah 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 stuff. I'm thinking about some of the The guard sours are absolutely amazing. Someone new looked for me, but those are more jammy than this. This just has elegance, subtlety, jamminess, but like pure fruit, but not even being jammy. Like I keep using that word, but that's a wrong word. Don't use that because this beer is really not that sweet and that like pastry or preserve, like or like what's the word like preservative, preserves, like you put them on your bread. Funky for days. As it develops and warms up, the nose follows with that kind of like hay, barnyard, a little bit of baby diaper, a little bit of like funkiness, and a little bit of toasted sesame character that I was getting on the nose, a little bit of that lactic acidity, wonderful, just perfect amount of acidic, just a pushy amount of acidity, but not, again, like when you get really a lot of acidic, you're getting that kind of like back of your palate, side of your tongue kind of thing, where it's like vinegar, right? Vinegar drink. You've had a vinaigrette, you just drink some vinaigrette, you know exactly what it tastes like. Drink some vinegar. Beautifully placed. Look at that card. I mean, let's see. Boy, oh boy. With that card, that's the cool thing. You refresh it. This is the thing I like talking about. When you refresh this glass, you get that little bit of head, that texture of the head plus the beer. Oh. This other thing this beer has, wonderful texture to it. Silky, satinish kind of like mouthfeel to it. This beer has mouthfeel despite acidity. Oh. Dry for days. Yeah. I don't know. If I had to go back, I probably would vote on the other one. Sorry, I literally just got back from work, so like the other Floodland that Nick sent me. 100 plus out of 100, 100 plus out of 100. This is just insane stuff. Like there's nothing gonna beat this. Like dare I say this might even be better than the beer that I brewed last year from Just King, right up there. I mean, which was the Frederick's band using the cherry juice from Belgium and from Denmark, I think. Yeah. But yeah, wow. The complexity is just insane here. It just, the nose just like sells you on like Belgium or something, but on the palate it's like American, but the most refined American kind of mixed fermentation sours I've ever had. And like, granted, I'm not drinking what, I haven't had a proper rare, crazy Hill Farm set recently, so maybe they're competing. I don't know what's out in the market these days. I don't really trade these days, but this is an absolute treat. And having had, you guys know, like bajillion beers, and had been in the bottle share thing and training for, 5 years or so, and doing it very hard. It's really a treat. This is the other half of my kind of beer reviewing career and craft beer thing, where it's like 5 years of doing the crazy trading thing and hyping, and then now I moved to Florida and take a little bit of break on that, but also try to get cool stuff for you guys. But unless I get really lucky with people like Nick sending beer like this, there's no way for me to try this kind of stuff. And, oh my god, it's gonna be 1A, 1B for the end of the year. I mean, we're ready in June, and I can't imagine things being this. It's just, it's not even cherries. It's almost like tastes like strawberries and raspberries. Like the complexity of fruit is really beautiful. The funk is here is wonderful. Mouthfeel, carnation, acidity. Like like you just get the top marks for just everything about if you break it down your advanced history, talk about flavor, aroma, appearance, carbonation, mouthfeel, aftertaste, all these things, and to dissect them all, and then if you want to break it down even further, acidity, fruit character, malt character, really pale, and then oh, and the cool thing about it, you take different size gulps, you get different experiences. Tiny one, acidic, bright, fruit forward, beautiful card. Take a little bit bigger, more jammy, more mouthfeel, more fruitiness, more acidity, right? Like the fact that you can find different levels of complexity to how much you put on your palate shows the amount of intense complexity and high level intensity of the flavor here, but also high complexity of this beer. I can talk on and on, but you guys don't want to hear me talking on and on. That's enough. Thank you, Nick. This is amazing. Ding again, 100 plus out of 100. Easily one of the best beers I've had. This is a mood down here. Wow, what a treat! What a treat! Thank you so much.